a pretty good Monday as things a pretty good Sunday as things go. The Grammys. Maybe someone will get their ass beat. What a wild week. I was stressed like I was. Yeah. All right. Are there war crimes in Russia? Absolutely. The new Wall Street Journal. New reports of war crimes in the Ukraine emerge as Russians retreat from Kiev. Nearly 300 civilians have been buried in a mass grave by local authorities in Bucha after Russian troops withdrew last week. So here's the problem with here's the thing about mass graves. You have to do that when so many people die that you cannot possibly even get anybody anywhere near funeral homes and uh, actual burial plots and funerals to say goodbye. Right. Also, with so many people that you find days and weeks later, they may have left the house for like 10 minutes and got killed. Don't have any ID on them. No one knows them. Right. So it could be. I mean, yeah. And the thing about the people who commit war crimes, you can generally know who's the head of the unit and track him down and have him arrested, or the head of the government. But they want W. Bush for war crimes. He's never leaving America, right? You're not going to come get him. They want what is his name from the 70s? Kissinger. Don't care, right? So yeah, I feel bad because man, 3 weeks ago they were alive. Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, that's how fast things sort of went like weird for them in their society. Wait, what? We're being invaded? What? The Russians? What? And 3 weeks later, because the Russians are it's lobbing bombs on schools and they're hitting streets. So if this happened here, imagine you were like every now and then you see a Russian tank and then you hear some gunshots in your neighborhood or whatever, but you still had to go to the shop, right? Because some of these shops are still open. And people all are biking around and walking their dogs. Some people in the places that they're fighting left, right? So let's say people are fighting in Detroit. Everyone in Detroit leaves except for a handful, right? On that super outskirts, and you can like see them taking pictures with their bikes, stealing tractors, stealing tanks with the tractors. But the rest of us who aren't in Detroit are watching this on TV, like, what the ever loving? And it's going on in Detroit, and it's going on in like say Maine, and then like in Florida, and then like in Oregon, right? Just kind of these spotted places around, but the most of it in the country are just kind of like, what? And but people, all the men are going. I'm going to Brooklyn, or I'm going to Maine, or wherever, right? To reinforce those guys. So, like I said, uh, Russia has 2 million man army, and the Ukraine only has like 600,000 or something like that. They're a small country, maybe 200,000, but there are 11 million people in the country. Half of those are men, so that means you've got 6 million people now, and all these women who are fighting as well, 6 million plus, standing against your 2 million. But your 2 million isn't all there, right? Some of them are back in Washington. Some of them are not Washington. Some of them are back in Moscow, right? A lot of them, right? You don't deploy your whole army and leave, right? Uh, so how many people do they have there? We heard that they put 100,000 in, thinking that they could pacify the country, thinking that was going to be enough. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. It's definitely not going to be enough. The Taliban bans drug cultivation, including opium. Why are we even fucking with the Taliban? They still kill people. They're still holding an American. And oh no, you should box them out. This should I would freeze them out. It's outrageous. They will be eating sand by the time I'm done with them. I mean, you're essentially endorsing this treatment of these women and these girls. If you're the West and you get in bed with this, I mean, right? How are you not endorsing it? What Chinese media is saying about Russia's Ukraine war. This ought to be good. Let's read that. All right. I have my coffee. I got my guitar. La la la. Hey, William. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. You are the recipient of 2 weeks of good energy. You can do everything but rob a bank and murder people. And anybody who has a problem with you this week, it's negative points for them. How you like them apples? So it's good to see you in the chat. We are about to run across what the Chinese are saying about the war in Ukraine because it's interesting because the Chinese want Taiwan, not Taiwan. Yeah, Taiwan. Right. The Chinese want Taiwan. Uh no, I did actually have a drink yesterday. So that means I'm only going to drink on special events. So weddings, funerals, stuff like this. A special event isn't a party or a bachelor party or anything like that where people just get together to drink. It has to be somewhere where somebody's actually toasting somebody and someone has had a life altering moment, like a wedding or a funeral or something like that. Won't be drinking at the family reunions or the barbecues. And I had my standard. I love whiskey. Had a whiskey and I was like, this is good. I really do appreciate this. Then I had two and a beer. I had a Corona. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm good. And that was it. So I woke up this morning. I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to start over because I'm not like quite trying to quit. And I was like, we're not going to start over, but we're going to just amend it. And yeah, so any other weddings in the future? I think I have four more weddings to go to. Five, maybe eight. Good Lord. A lot of young people in my family. So maybe eight more times until I decide to change it and go back to drinking. Uh, but yeah, the only thing I caught was a beer and a whiskey. It was nice. It was nice. It was so nice. Young people getting married. Oh boy, I'm becoming an old softy. Um, no, nobody. It was a black wedding, so we don't really so much do gartering. We did jump the broom. You know what this is? It's an African thing that the slaves used to do, right? Jumping the broom, as my brother who officiated, who's now our official marriager in the family, I guess. He's a minister, preacher, pastor, whatever you. Uh, but what they would do is they would jump a broom. The broom symbolizes sweeping away the past, just starting something new with somebody. So you're sweeping away the past, but it also sweeping away the past and clearing the weight of the future as you move forward. I forget what it is. I forget what he said. But it's that. But yeah, as for somebody taking a garter off your leg, which is I'm used to it too, but now in hindsight that there's a movement back to somebody's thing. I wonder how that got started. And I think it got started in the 30s when it was, ooh, a lady's leg, how risque. And now everybody does it. But I think that the moment has passed, right? Although that risky stuff, ooh, lady, I can see your ankle, tee hee hee. Nobody cares about that. We've moved beyond it. And I think the garter is that we didn't throw the bouquet, right? The bride gave the bouquet to someone. I think my mother got the bouquet. Her grandmother got the bouquet. But yeah, just slight differences, cultural differences. Um, but the groom still cried. So that was pretty good. It was just great. I got to see everybody. Got to realize how old I'm getting because all my nieces and nephews are graduating and people are in advanced degree programs. And I'm sitting here going, how old are these kids? And you're like, yeah, these kids are young people. Young people. These kids. When I say kids and young people, I'm generally thinking 15 and like 21, maybe. Right? Calling them kids, but I think they're a little older than that. I just have them frozen in my head at a certain age, which sort of protects me because I'm not getting any younger. But yeah, you see all the promise of them is great. So yeah, marriage. It made me sad too. I was like, man, because you look around. My brother asked the crowd, my brother who's officiating, how many people have been married here for 5 years? How many have been married for 10? How many married for 15? How many people have been married for 20? Right? Uh, and then 30, and then 40, and then 50. Right? We had two people who've been married for 50 years, and my parents were married have been married for 60 plus. So they got a giant round of applause, and everybody was like, "Whew." And that's what I mean about, like, I've seen how it's done, right? So I'm not marrying anybody when I was looking to get married. Came close a lot of times, a lot of girls I liked, but waited too long and they left me, or was like, I got to get out of this, and that's the game, right? Uh, but I should have just did it because everybody just gets divorced like it's everybody's business, and it doesn't matter. But now I get to ride this out as the cool bachelor uncle who plays a really, really, really shitty guitar. Woo! All right, let's hop into it. I'm getting all Missy. The wedding was beautiful. I also realized I got to do something about my wardrobe because I look good. I did look good, but people showed up with sneakers and blue jeans and hoodies, and you're just kind of like, if you look that way every day, what's special about this wedding? Did you not give a fuck to do it, or is this your finest? Then how do you look every day? And this is where I'm at. I think people are phoning it in. And I looked at myself and I was like, I used to be sort of a clothes horse. I mean, not expensive, but I looked nice. Things matched. Things were pressed and cleaned. Collared shirts and you know cuffed shoes, ironed. Right. This is crisply ironed. Look at the crease on that sleeve. Oh, and I grew up like you had a crease down the front of your pants and a crease in your sleeve. Now no one creases in. People can't iron. And I was like, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna up my game. So I'm not gonna wear suits, but I think I'm gonna try and at least make this stream make me look a little more presentable on this stream, right? Look a little nicer. Still wearing hats though, but just look a little nicer. Not everything is in a t-shirt and shorts. I don't really do a lot of shorts, but well, that's not true. No, it's not. I really don't do a lot of shorts. So we're just gonna try and make it look presentable. And as we try and make it look presentable, we're gonna try and uh, write more of the stories out. But I do like just flipping through it. Like I feel like I'm reading a newspaper with you, right? So I get a newspaper, I pop it on the table, and I flip it over, and I go, "Hey, you want to read that? Hey, you want to read that?" Right? That's sort of my thing. I mean, I think I don't know what I'm doing, man. And that's the magic of the internets, right? Uh, I could do my pod like I used to, which was scripted, 13 minutes on a topic, which I've sort of missed because I would hunt down information for you and give it to you all in 13 minutes. With this, we just kind of like loosely talk about it over a beer or coffee or, well, not a beer. It used to be whiskey, but not anymore. What Chinese media is saying about the Ukraine war? All right, so let's get into it. First of all, who wrote this? Jen Kirby. Who? Okay, we can put this here. Who is Jen Kirby? The close of 2022 Beijing Olympics on February 20th was a key moment in trying to decipher Russia's Ukrainian invasion plans. Russian President Vladimir Putin would wait until after the games. The theory went so as not to distract from the Olympics and to avoid jeopardizing any support Moscow would need from Beijing. Putin did wait, finally launching an invasion on February 24th, 4 days later. But China has not gone all in on Putin's Ukraine war, despite China's President Xi Jinping and Putin declaring there were no limits to their friendship. You know why there's no limit to your friendship? Because neither one of you have any fucking allies in the world. So you both have to be allies, but you're both shitty countries. So the world can knock you both off your pedestal. Uh, but you think, the world can knock us both off separately, but it's harder for them to knock us both off joined together. Um, that's true, but that isn't necessarily you know a deal breaker. I did see the Sacramento King shooting story. 6 people dead. Uh, it's a mass shooting. I mean, it's what we do, right? Violence and nudity. They said the Chinese government had tried to toe a careful line. It has not condemned Russia's invasion, but though China has criticized Western sanctions on it, Russia, it has not really moved to help Russia evade them, and it looks like it's trying to avoid running afoul of the penalties. At the same time, what it says and does outwardly may be a lot different from what's happening behind the scenes. That's China. China always says one thing and does another, or tells you mind your business, right? So it's saying, you know, it's an open and free democratic republic, and it's not, right. It's got labor camps with the Uyghurs, re-education camps. Um, so yeah, it's going to stand up here openly and say, "Oh yeah, we." I mean, their allyship is isn't one of mutual admiration and uh uh understanding. Their allyship is no one else will hang out with us. We have to hang out with each other. So if one of them destroys himself, the other doesn't feel compelled to come and rescue him, right? They're not allies. My best friend, I got to go get him, right? We were in these things together. We're ride or die. It's like, well, I might as well share this Uber with this guy, all right. And then when that guy gets in trouble, you're like, I don't know that, and that's what their relationship is. Old YouTube of yours popped up with the Declaration of Independence. Yeah. My wheelhouse is American history and American culture, right? I've said on this pod before, I'm sort of obsessed with the founders and that era because I really do think if you would have fucking fixed it, we wouldn't be having these issues now, right? So, but everyone else is obsessed with the Civil War. Like, if you would have won, you would have what? I had this conversation with my friend who was Republican. I was like, listen, man, you're not getting your fucking slaves back. Oh, man, I understand about slavery. Oh, yeah, what is this about? Give me this heritage shit. You were fighting for a topic. What was the topic? I have a book around here with all the preambles. Um, it's a mini constitution, but in it has the Declaration of Independence, all of it, and it has not the Declaration of Independence. It has the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, has the American Constitution, and it has every state constitution. And the Southern state, where is that fucking book? The Southern state constitution. That's not it. The Southern state constitution. Is that it? No, it's not it. The Southern state constitutions. I have to find that book. All say we have a right to own slaves. They all say it. So, you know, live by the sword, die by the sword, right? If if we're giving you an award for your army bravery and service, right? Because you were one of the best Nazis and you were on the battlefield and you killed the enemy. But at the end of the war, you lose, and then it's found out that the army that you were fighting in was just doing sinister shit. How much are those awards worth? I mean, you did it in good conscience, like all soldiers, right? Right? You just spoke German, you did it for Germany, but if you were American, we would still lay these laurels on you. If you were French or English, right? You just happen to have been an honest person in a shitty war. And then you get home, you find out wait, we got what going on in these camps? Holy fuck, right? And mind you, not everybody or the Nazis were. You know what I'm saying? But in hindsight, when you come back to it, it's like they tell you all the slaves were happy, right? And they leave out all the rebellions. So I'm not, and I feel like I have to always give multiple explanations of what I'm talking about, so people don't run off and go, "Oh my God, you're supporting Hitler." You know what I mean? And it's this. So if you saved all these lives and you got your troops out and you endured hardship, but you lost the war, right? And everybody was like, "Wow, he dragged us all out of a minefield and he stopped my bleeding leg and saved my life and removed the bullet." And then we all got back and we found out that we did this thing. Never mind, forget it. All right. I'm off on a rant. Um, okay, so China is hedging its bets. Jane Kirby, as best we can tell how China views the war in Iraq. Maria Repnikova, well, it's hard to know exactly how because she interviewed somebody, not very transparent about the inner sentiments of the Chinese Communist Party. In terms of how it's been projecting its policies perspective, it seems that its own role as staying on the sidelines and constantly reassuring the external public that they are pro peace and they want to bring forward dialogue. What else are you going to say? Right? Saying you're pro peace is a cop out. I mean, who's not pro peace? You fucking idiots, right? So the idea of are you for Russia invading Ukraine because you want Taiwan? I can see you staring, you're salivating, right? Or are you not for this? And you're for the Ukrainians and their sovereign land, like you would be for your sovereign lands, right? That's answering the fucking, excuse my language, that's answering the doggone question versus I'm for peace, right? It's like saying I'm for the children. And you go, oh, can the children have freedom of speech? Sometimes they're like, we're going to cancel everything if you write this in the school newspaper. And you're like, no. Oh, well, can the kids have a dance? No, we don't like dancing or loud rock and roll music. We don't like the boys and girls mixing. We don't like it. Oh, so you're not really for what you're for is for control, right? Or for yourself. And this is that thing, right? We have to tell the world something, and we're full of innocuous bullshit or open threats. I love the open threats. And these wild pronouncement of owning the president of the United States that they made a few years ago, no, not a few years ago, a few months ago, because they've done so much weird and dirty business with the Bidens. The Bidens, we should look up the Bidens' criminal history. The Bidens have a Biden corruption, right? The brother and the son. We're a little feedback going to like Big Daddy. All right, so we're not going to finish reading this, but essentially, no. That was a different book. I thought that book was great. He asked me the Constitution book with the president photos. I had one of my videos on YouTube. I have I'm talking about this book, and I find the book amazing. It was at my friend's house, and she's an educator, and she had this book, and it was written in a window, right? It was written with the All American History. It was written in 1950. 1944. 43. It was written in 1943 because he died in 43. When did we drop the bomb on Hiroshima? Truman dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, and okay, they have Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor in 41, right? The war ended in 44. He oversaw the whole thing up until its end because he died, and then Truman ended it with a nuclear. So I'm thinking the war ended in 44. He died in 43, the same year that the Russians stole the nuclear secrets from us. We had it built, but they had it. By the time we dropped it, they had all the plans for the shit. Because incompetence. Hold on. When did I'm going down a rabbit hole? When I'm testing what I'm doing is I'm testing my memory. When did Truman drop the bomb? This Institute use atomic bomb, National Archive, drop, 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 drop. Another thing that they talk about forever, and I'm like, just stop talking about it. I mean, did he have to drop the bomb? Were we close to the war? So and so was out. Russia was defeated, and they were like, well, the Japanese wouldn't give up. I mean, was it racism or was it? I don't, you could have this conversation forever, and that's the problem with things that you can't solve. Should you have thrown at the 1 yard line? Would you have won that interception? The Seattle Seahawks. I mean, you could go back and forth forever. It happens. It happens. When I was, let's call it film school. When I was in film school, they told us the movie ends where the movie ends. Don't read into it, right? Because you'll make yourself crazy, right? Uh, so did the boy and the girl get married and run away together? You can like to believe that that's how the story ends, but don't, right? Just don't read into it. Just take the story as it is. It's a packet of information. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back, the end. And all this crap happens in between. But the end means the end. Don't sit in like, you know, what's a version of it? A version of it is what the comedians do, right? After the story ends, he kisses the girl, he gives her the shoe at the ball and the dance, and then her fairy tale godmother says, "Look, you are not the Cinderella anymore. You're the Cinderella princess or whatever, however it ends." And then like they dance, and she marries a prince, and bam, it ends. Right, a nice song, and the third credits, it ends. What smells like something is burning. What the comedian does is then extrapolate her in a house unhappy with 9 kids and him, the fat prince, watching the sports and reading the newspaper, right? You could give me a second. All right. Uh, I have I have I have sage burning, and it's almost going out, but it's burning like the little rope, and when enough of the little ropes burn because it's almost gone, you smell something burning, and it's not the sage, so you have to make sure. Well, at least I have to make sure. Burn the freaking house down. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I was what I was saying as I exited. I think we're talking about nuclear bombs in Nagasaki and wandering around the topic of was it racism, wasn't it racism, right? Wandering around the topic of excuse me. All right, so we're not going to read about Biden corruption. We did a little perusal of the nature of China and its global politics and what it says to the world and what the world accepts what what the world accepts as factual. Want to go? Do you want to say that? No, well, I don't think the world accepts it as factual. I think the world accepted. No, okay. I think the world accepts it for what it is, which is just a statement by that government. I think I was talking about trying to remember the video about the Constitution, and we're trying to peg out when Truman dropped the bomb, which I think is 42, and thus try and find out. See, it's coming back to me now. Thus, try to find out when Roosevelt died, who looked like there's a last picture of Roosevelt. Last picture of Roosevelt. Ugh, wow. There's a book of the last pictures of all the presidents. It's sort of it's not sad, but we all none of us look our best when and you don't know when these days are coming, but I'm assuming unless you hit a tree or a car hits you or some nonsense. Uh he he looks old and frail. This picture was taken April. The last photo of President Roosevelt taken at Warm Springs. Elizabeth Sherman of FDR died the following day, April 12th, 1945. All right, so he died. He died in April 1945. When did we drop the Bazam? Atomic bomb. And by the way, did you see these new atomic bombs wiped out that city, killed 270,000 people in one city and 180,000 in another city in an instant, vaporized people? The nuclear bombs we have now, you would hope they drop that on your country, right? Because what they'll drop now will wipe out like 4 states. It's fucking stupid, right? They dropped this on on an island archipelago, and the island archipelago is still there. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference of what do I have around here? It's the difference of hold on now. All right. It's the difference of this medicine ball, right? Oh, good lord, I forgot how heavy this thing is. This medicine ball versus this ping pong ball. So this ping pong ball, they dropped two of them, one on Hiroshima and one on Nagasaki. The first one killed 282,000 people. The other one, the next one killed 190,000 or so. The ones that we're dropping that we haven't dropped yet yield this much boom. So they estimate two of these things are going to destroy the planet. So the way I see it, and everybody's got thousands of them. So the way I see it, if you do this, you likely want to end the world. Uh, let's see what happens. All these threats of nuclear war, I think people are just so used to being threatened by nuclear war uh, that they don't want it to happen, but they take it for granted. But I think you might want to look at the new yield. We can look that up for you too. Let's put this here. Oh, good lord. Good lord. Are we gonna look up nuclear yield? I just want to make sure I'm clear. Nuclear yield. Hold it. Yield. All right, god dang it. All right, so nuclear explosive yield. Here's one. 5 largest nuclear bombs by yield. Tsar Bomba isn't a nuclear bomb. Where's the tiny little scale? All right, here we go. Oh, is this one of them? Yeah, this will do fine. Let's put this up. So this is a year you're talking about. This is Hiroshima, Nagasaki, right? This is what the yield is now. You're gonna wipe out 10 million people. So what is he talking about when he says this shit? You know what I'm saying? He's threatening the world to protect himself. This one guy, he made this stupid move, and now he's on. Well, I can get away with it. Or I'll tell you, it's the guy in a bar with a gun doing this. I'll do it. I'll do it. Right, and everybody's just kind of like jockeying, waiting for who can get a chance to hit him with a lamp or something. And this is essentially what this is. So he needs to fucking back down, or somebody needs to fucking deal with him darkly. And again, I don't think the people around him and they killed their own, they killed journalists all the time, right? Uh, I don't think they're gonna go for it. Yeah, why don't we destroy the world? That'll teach them. I don't think they'll go for it, right? It's the idea of destroying your gravy train as well. I don't know, man. He died a day later. And let's close this. Let's close this. Oh man, it is chilly outside. What's the temperature outside?
It's currently 63 degrees.
Hmm. 63 degrees is pretty good. Somewhere around here, I have a fleece, one of those Wall Street fleeces. Those things are awesome. I don't care what, like, they're trying to demonize them because what those Wall Street bros wear them. They're a fleece. They're warm. They keep your torso warm. And if you have a hat on, you're good. You lose 90% of your heat through your head. So once you cap your head, you begin to build up body heat, but you still lose it through your torso, your armpits, right? Uh, so long sleeve shirts and hoodies. But if you can keep it channeled here, it doesn't matter if you lose it in your arms or your armpits. So yeah, get one. Plus, it helps to show off the guns. All right. Uh, we're not gonna look up Joe Biden's corruption, are we? No, we're not gonna look up that. Look, man, we're trying to keep it moving and keep it moving. Let's open this window first. Let's try and keep it moving gracefully. How's that? Gracefully is a word of the day, people. Maybe that's how I keep track of these. A word of the day. Let's write that down. That might be an idea. Word of the day. So the word of the day is, what did I just say it was? Patience. I don't know what I just said it was. Good Lord. Uh, I cannot keep drinking coffee like this. Did Trump just suggest invading Afghanistan again? For somebody who's supposed to be banned, they do cover him a lot, and it's always negative. This is how you know your media is not serious. Surely, the person you cover has to do something good occasionally. If you're following them around all the time, and all you do is report on that person, right? So let me give you an example I'm talking about. I'm an average dude walking around, right? Joe Nobody. I rob a bank or snatch a purse. I end up in the paper, shame on me, right? 10 years later, I try and do something good. I turn my life around. I'm a Christian person. I'm working youth hostels. I'm working whatever good innocuous job. Um, how long, right? Can you hang somebody with their history, right? That's for regular people. Um, you used like because it's weird. Because I think once you're a crook, you're always a crook. Once you're a thief, you're always a thief. So I'm trying to come up with an example that even I don't believe, which is sort of it's sort of a mental trick, but you're supposed to be able to do that as a lawyer, right? To put yourself in, and as an empathetic individual, put yourself in someone else's shoes. But you know what? Not everything is good for everybody, and this is one of those things. I'm like, death to traders and fuck thieves. Uh, I don't know about cutting your hand off, but yeah, you shouldn't be re-released into society to do more thieving. But I guess what I'm trying to say is if you watched me all the time, surely you would see that I would open doors for old ladies and uh, stop for ducks and rescue, right? But you're not going to put that in the paper. So because you're following me all the time, so you're going to say, "Oh, he littered here." 2 weeks later, he spit on the street. 2 weeks later, he peed on a tree outside, right? Why doesn't he use the bathroom outside? He's desecrating trees and that, right? But between those, there's got to be something that you do that is just even just innocuous. That But no, the innocuous stuff gets badly reported too, right? He plays golf. They ridicule his golf game and his body type. So I mean, they have an angle. Is my point. And when he shows up, uh, I'm not. He shows up when the elections roll around. Um, and they tell you that everything's legit and no one's got a foot, on the scale, or it's this that you just kind of go, because we want what a lot of the other countries' citizens want, right? We want something from our government. So we're not getting it either, right? The North Koreans want freedom, they ain't getting it. The Palestinians want freedom, they ain't getting it. Uh, Look, every major country is doing some fuckery to some group in their borders. right? The Chinese are fucking with the Uyghurs. The Israelis are fucking with the Palestinians. The Americans are fucking with the blacks. I think the Indians, the British are fucking with the Indian population. Um, but it's everywhere. The French have a problem with the Arabs, right? All right. Here's the thing I wanted to talk about. America's oldest national park ranger retires at the age of 100. Isn't there a retirement age in federal government? How did she get to stay to 100? Here's the second thing about that question. It's called retirement, so you can fucking go and relax, right? What are you going to do now? Here's the thing. When you retire, you should pick up a hobby. It helps you live longer, right? This is easily done at a young retirement age. When I say young retirement age, I mean like 60, right? If you retire at 80, it's sort of this way. At 60, you've been fishing for a while or painting for a while. By the time you get to 80, you've been doing it for 20 years, right? Writing stories, doing whatever. By the time you're 80, there's there's not polls. There's stats show that when you retire as an older person, if you stop working is a reason to get up and get out of the bed, get out of the house, go to a place, interact. Then all of a sudden your life shrinks because like your kids are out of the house. You probably don't have a pet or a dog or has like house plants. You know, all the people you knew were co-workers that you liked, right? Um, it's like moving away when you had a nice rich friend group. All of a sudden you get a job someplace, you move someplace, you don't know anybody. It's just you and your spouse and their work friends, and maybe you don't even see their work friends, right? So now you got to start from scratch. It's this thing, but you don't have the energy to do that. So people's lives when they retire, their social lives begin to shrink, and it affects your at that age. It affects your mental state. Like you're doing less, you're having less uh, mental input. Um, so what is she gonna do? I hate to be Joe Miserable here, but I think she's gonna be dead in like 6 months. You know what I mean? Just because she won't have a purpose, unless there's something going on in her life that I don't know about. Maybe she will spend the next 30 years because she's an avid baker or a hiker. I mean, she did work outside, right? Uh, but if they paid you to hike, why would you? I don't know. I guess my major question is, why was she not retired out 100? What are you doing in the parks at 100? You're just telling young people stuff, I guess. You're not out there doing anything because, good Lord, you know how frail you. I mean, come on, seriously. You know how frail you are if you're 100 years old. 100-year-old lady too, and ladies are supposed to be frailer anyway. Don't want to be sexist, but I think women are considered frailer, right? Frail doesn't mean weak. It just means. Wait a minute. Frail doesn't mean weak. Frail means I want to say delicate, but that doesn't sound right either. Oh, good Lord, I'm like crashing this. What frail? Let's get this right because we use the word 1,000 times. We we know the proper use of the word frail. So frail doesn't mean weak. I don't think. I want to say. I think it means delicate. Mean not fragile. Frail. Oh, is frail a pejorative? All right, frail. Weak or delicate. She looks frail and vulnerable. And then it says now a woman dated informal a woman. Do you want to be called frail? That's why I didn't think it was a bad thing. Do women want to be called frail? I guess that would be bad. But it's archaic, right? Weak, susceptible, frail. Okay, I'd buy that. Impressionable. Oh, I wouldn't buy that. Malleable. I wouldn't buy that. Vulnerable. Mm, I wouldn't buy that. Defenseless. I wouldn't buy that. Impotent. I would definitely wouldn't buy that. Fallible means mistaken. Like that's not frail. Fallible is errant, is an error. Errant is wrong. Erring. All these, no, these are imperfect, restless. No, none of these are right. Um, archaic. Those are the archaic from frail. One person, infirm. Okay. Weak, feeble. No, I don't say feeble. Incapacitated, wasted, delicate. Okay, slight, slender. Yeah, these are better definitions. When I think of frail, I think of small and not. Yeah, because this frail has it seeming like you're weak. So you have a frail ego, which is fragile, right? And be a big dude. But a big dude is not going to have a frail body unless he's infirm and there's something weak about it. So I think when I think puny, puny, skeletal, white face, puny children. Puny, comparative, actually punier, superlative, puniest. Puny quality, amount, or size. The army was reduced of puny 100,000 men. Undersized, underdeveloped, undernourished, underfed, stunted, slight. Puny. Yeah, those are definitely, but this one, infirm, weak. I don't know if I agree with these, but I don't have a better one. So there you have it. All right. Oh my God. Becky, look at her butt. She must be one of those rap guys' girlfriends. We played rap songs yesterday from the 80s. They didn't play they played what's the other butt song? Doing the butt? Alright, sexy. That go-go song. The second most popular butt song. All right. We got a half an hour. I'm sort of tired. But I'm not exhausted, but I am tired. And I know why, if you care to know. I think it's because I was stressed about this wedding all week. And now I don't have to stress about it. And your brain does get tired. Having something on your mind for a long time, when it's off, you will feel physically like you can feel physically exhausted from thinking and right and to have to stretch and right. You can get that too from being just kind of like exhausted. So I feel like I've worked out even though I haven't, because look at me. Oof, I'm not, yeah. But it's the second quarter. You know what that means? We kick up our workout regimen, and we implement. Are we going to implement it? We're going to try and implement our Ben Franklin. So many what ifs, but that Ben Franklin calendar is crazy because if I can actually master it, I'll have a perfect day. And not for the time he mastered it, right? Maybe 20 minutes, like cut his day down to 20-minute blocks. So I'll be doing one thing for 20 minutes and one thing for like his 3 hours would be 2 4 6 would be an hour. Uh, yeah. How come there hasn't been any baseball games on my television set? I've missed every baseball game. Can executive action save Democrats in the midterm? Look, listen, you got to stop doing this executive action stuff. It's what presidents do when they can't get anything through or done. And you've made this ridiculous environment where nothing gets through or done. So I don't know. I think you may need a whole bunch of new people or someone who can move the American citizenry to another place other than constant warfare with each other. Six dead, 10 injured in an early morning shooting in downtown Sacramento. Let's do it. Six dead, 10 injured in early morning shooting in downtown Sacramento by Sharon Bernstein. U.S. News, April 3rd, 2022, 10 a.m. Sacramento, we're just going to peruse the article. Sacramento, 6 people were killed and 10 injured in a shooting in downtown Sacramento that took place in a busy nightlife district early Sunday morning. Another sad boy with a gun out at the clubs, right? get all primed because somebody went and talked to him, and then someone else bumps into him, and then he shoots up the joint. Now he's got to hope no one saw him, and he's hiding out. I bet you right now he's changing his haircut. Remember the British, not a British, they're the California couple that's going on trial for a freeway murder. So somebody cuts the guy off. He has the driver, who's this Asian woman, like catch up, and then he like racks his gun and fires into their car. That'll teach her. Hits a 6-year-old in the chest. Hits him in his car seat. So the shooter is looking at life in prison, good, right? And the woman is looking at 3 years for manslaughter. And I think she should be looking at more. But the shooter, he's gonna be lucky if he gets 25 years. You killed a 6-year-old. It doesn't make any sense. Arrogant, flippant violence is all over the place. And you sure show them at the Oscars. Couple shoots 6-year-old California. Couple to sand trial and road rage killing of 6-year. There we go. Of 6-year-old. Oh boy. KTLA, CNN, 2 suspects plead not guilty. Sacramento, June 18th, 2021. We need 3 days ago. Did I just click on this? No, it didn't. Right. So here's their pictures. They're not gonna let you see it. Yeah, man, all these people. I mean, how good are your freaking writers that everything has to be behind the paywall, right? So this is the people. This is the two who killed this little kid. I mean, Marcus Anthony Erez and Win Lee. I mean, and then he leaves. He goes home. He gets a haircut. He looks totally different the next day. But you drove past stop signs and street signs. Everything has a camera on it, so they knew who did it. It was for the stupidest shit. A woman, and you're gonna you're gonna shoot the woman. I'll totally believe that you didn't know there was a baby seat in the car, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It does not matter. Yeah, exactly. Aaron Hernandez was a psycho, and he was protected until he did what Will Smith did, just flippantly arrogant thing, right? He killed somebody in front of like 3 people to be like, what? And then I'm pretty sure the next day he was like, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. Help me, right? Like, remember the basketball player who shot his chauffeur at an event? Not an event. He had people over at his house playing with a gun, shot his chauffeur, killed him. Uh, then he tried to sort of like go, everybody saw it was an accident, right? That's witness tampering. So if you commit your evil, dirty deedery, don't do it on camera and don't do it in front of a whole bunch of fucking people. Who was that? Basketball NBA player. I want to say it wasn't Anthony. It was Jason. Jason something. NBA player kills CHUFFER. CH chauffeur, right? Jason Williams. After decades of misery, ex NBA player is released from prison. What is this? He served 8 months in jail, driving under the influence. Yeah, after that thing, he did a lot of stuff to compound his problem. But I get it. It was probably on his mind and he was drinking, right? And then you do something else and you got this case, and now you got a DWI, and everybody wants to. You can't go. I'm so stressed out because this thing, and I shouldn't have drank, right? Because that's a mission of guilt and all this other shit. So now you just got to keep your head down. And go look, and it's not like he's been causing getting into crime when he was 18, 19, 20, 30, 40, right? It's just this thing, and then it's compounded by another thing. And people like you at your worst moment. So they all show up and go, look at him. Now he's drunk, and he killed that, and that's what you get. And you can't say anything But at the end of the day, someone is dead at your house party, homie. I don't even know what to tell you. Why you playing with fucking guns, man? Destroy his whole life. I think he got a divorce after this too. Injury and retirement. Assault conviction, tasering incident, rally bar fight, DWI. Wait a minute. How come it has nothing about the shoot? Am I looking at the right Jason Williams? Legal incident. Williams was accused of breaking a beer mug over a patron said at a saloon in Chicago. 2 years later, he was accused of firing a semi-automatic weapon at the parking lot of a Meadowlands sports complex. He was never criminally charged in either case. Assault conviction. So they're calling it an assault conviction? On February 14th, Valentine's Day, 2002, 55-year-old limo driver Costas Christofi, Costas Gus, was shot and killed by at Let's read that again. On February 11th, Valentine's Day, 2002, it doesn't say Valentine's Day. I'm just saying it's Valentine's Day. 55-year-old limo driver Costas Gus Christofi was shot and killed at Williams Estate in Alexandria Township, New Jersey. Christopher had been hired to drive Williams' NBA charity team, see, a whole bunch of people, from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, team from a Bethlehem, Pennsylvania event to his mansion, about 30 miles, 48 kilometers northwest of Trenton, New Jersey. Members of the Williams NBA charity basketball team were present at the scene. Yeah, so everybody sued him because they saw it were traumatized and they sued him. So, like, yeah, he had nothing but issues. But nothing but issue comes when you kill somebody. Look, you should be happy to have to deal with all these people, then do the 40 years in jail and deal with all those people. Why are you playing with guns, man? What are you doing? Let's finish reading this chapter. Uh, Members of Williams' NBA charity basketball team were present at the scene. The New York Post reported that Williams was playing with a shotgun while giving a tour of his 30,000 square foot home when the weapon fired, killing Christofi. Shotgun. In April 2004, Williams was acquitted of the more serious charges against him, but the court jury deadlocked on the charge of reckless manslaughter. He was convicted of 4 counts of trying to cover up the shooting. Yeah, that's the shit that he was telling all the witnesses, right? Witness tampering. On April 21st, and here's the thing about this case. It's fucked up. But the prosecutors tried to put him in jail for 1,000 years for this. And this is why, I mean, it's fucked up. Give him the time he deserves. So you're going to charge him with witness tampering 5 years. So that's 4 counts. That's 20 years plus the shooting. That's another 20 years. So you want to put him in jail for 40 and then run for Congress. And these are the kind of people there. Remember, man, don't even get me started on the fuckery that you should be able to, whatever you do, and I hope it's never me or never you or never anybody, but the fucking thing should be fair. And this place is just unfair. It's never been. The arrogance of it. He was convicted of 4 counts of trying to cover up the shooting, right? And properly so. On April 21st, as I remember it, properly so. On April 21st, 2006, a Huntington County Appeals Court ruled that Williams could be retried on reckless manslaughter charge stemming from the shooting death of Christofi. The court repeatedly delayed the retrial for a series of reasons, such as the state's 2008 appeal of ruling related to prosecutorial misconduct at the first trial. And this is the problem, right? So, was this a good trial or not? And it's just filing legal briefs all over the place. Meanwhile, while every piece of paper is costing somebody $1,500, you know, you generate money through the judicial system. It's sort of rigged and mean spirited and bullshit and evil, and it should be fixed. It's a bastion of Jim Crow, quite frankly. And the arrogance of it is you didn't change anything. You just it was for one group of people. Now it's just for everybody. Like the bad guys, the person who wanted to murder his wife, he should get time like that. The idiot who does something stupid like this, maybe he should get, I don't know. I fluctuate, but he should get up to 20 years, depending on how bad it was, since the murderers are getting 25 to life, right? How come all the sentences are all the same. You do it accidentally and it's manslaughter and you get life. You do it purposely for money and and you get life. It doesn't. Meanwhile, the rich don't ever have see a court. No, man, don't even get me started. All right, let's see what happens with this. Prosecutorial misconduct on January 20th, 2010. This thing went on forever. So from February Valentine's Day, 2002 to uh, April 19, 2011. So that's 9 years of legal back and forth and and paying lawyers and yada 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 and trying to stay out of jail and By the time this is all settled and and you can finally breathe and you can say goodbye to that lawyer and you don't ever have to go to court again. You paid the last. That's got to be like 15 years later. And how much did it cost you? He's a millionaire, so how much did it cost you? The regular guy after would be like, oh now I got to pay the lawyer, and that's $300,000 for beating the case, right? Defending yourself in the court is just as bad as getting cancer, having the All right. On January 11, 2010, Williams pleaded guilty to aggravated assault. He copped a plea instead of right. He was finally sentenced to 5 years in prison with possibility of parole after 18 months. Williams was subsequently moved on April 19, 2011 to Rikers Island to serve an additional 1 year sentence for DWI. So that's two and a half years. So he 18 months on the first one plus a year for DWI. So he had to do 18 months is a year and a half. 12 and 24 and 6 months is 30 months. He had to do 30 months. Um, Williams was subsequently right, and he did the whole thing on Rikers Island, of which he served 8 months and was released from custody. So what? Did they hold him earlier? So he had a 3.5 year sentence. He was supposed to save 18 months, but he ended up serving 8. Maybe they were concurrent. Even if they were running concurrent, he still had to do a year and a half sentence on the first. I don't understand what is going on. 2009. So right, he had a taser incident. So this is between all this. The New York City Police Department reported on April 27, 2009 that Williams was stunned with a taser in New York City hotel by members of the NYPD after. Oh no, I thought he tased somebody. Report that had become suicidal and violent upon entering Manhattan room. Was arrested March 29th, but punching the man in the face. Da 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 da. DWI incident, January 5th, 2010. This is 6 days before he was going to answer to plead not guilty, right? Or did he get a DWI and was like, I better plead guilty to one of these cases? In 2001, Williams authorized a book about basketball entitled Loose Balls. Your book is okay. In 2001, Williams authored a book about. You wrote an autobiographical book called Loose Balls. How come no one told you that was a good idea? Maybe double dribble was taken. Loose balls. Oh, okay. Entitled "Loose Balls," the book intended largely to be a humorous recollection of Williams' life in the NBA, and was later cited as containing 9 separate anecdotes involving his tendency to play with guns, including one where football player Wayne Chrebet is nearly shot, and where the uncle of Manute Bol is threatened with an unloaded handgun. 2001. Okay, so he wrote a book and then a year later shoot somebody. Yeah, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? Don't play with guns, stupid people. Guns kill people. Uh, you better have a damn good reason for pulling the trigger on somebody, or having the trigger pulled on somebody and you didn't intend to, or dropping a gun and having the trigger go. Why was it cocked in the first place? And the only guns that you can drop and have go off are revolvers, which can be cocked. And why was it cocked in the first place? These are the questions inquiring minds are going to want to know. You can't accidentally discharge an automatic weapon. It's an impossibility. If you shoot somebody with an automatic weapon, you're meant to do it. So if in 8 months I'm arrested and I go, no, my gun went off by accident, you can look at this and go, he knew perfectly well the basic mechanics of guns. What is he talking about? And then I'll tell you, it wasn't me, it was William. William did it. And then I'll cop to it and I'll cry and I'll say that my dad touched me, or I didn't have any friends as a kid, and I throw myself in the mercy of the jury, and everyone to go, aw, 40 years, as they should. Because come on, man, the fuck are you doing playing with guns? You don't think his family misses him? This is what I don't get about it. I'm like, when I think about these things, I think about the victim, but I also think about the shooter and what the shooter left behind. But I don't side with the shooter, right? I got you back, man. If look, the it's the no snitch rule. I'm an honorable dude, so this is the no snitch rule. William in the chat, I think it's taking umbrage with my pinning the whole thing on him. So this is the no snitch rule. Me and you, William, you and I rob a bank. You get away with all the money. The cops catch me. I'm not saying anything. I'm gonna do the time, right? And when I get out in 10 years or whatever, you give me my dough. You look after me. But that's what happens. The first thing happened is yeah, he went that way. I don't know. Everybody's giving everybody up. If there's six of us doing a crime, and one of us gets caught, everybody's going to jail. This is why my whole position is: if you're going to do it yourself, right? And there's very few crimes uh, that are lucrative that you can do by yourself, right? So to be a drug dealer, you need a whole bunch of people, and right to do all this. But like to be a hitman, someone's got to hire you. I want you to go kill this, my right? If you are inclined to do some evil, you should end up on one of those Dateline things where the guy actually plotted it out. Yeah, still go to jail for 1,000 years, but at least you weren't winging it, right? And this is what detectives are supposed to be good at. They're supposed to be getting those people, not us fucktards down here who are just you know. And the whole society is like violence upon violence upon violence. Everything on television is violence. And I think there's always a percentage in society who goes, I can get away with that. And then they try it. And then they hurt somebody and then they're instantly caught. I mean, in the last 5 years, I want to say maybe it's the last 10 years, we had two shooters wandering around shooting people. You had one in Louisiana who they caught, right? And you just had one in New York who they caught, right? And you had one nut job who was driving out in his car shooting people, and when the cops caught up to him, he killed himself. What's going on with these people? These sad men randomly the people, whoever you have an issue with, it wasn't these random people you met in the world. Maybe your issue should have dealt with the people who agreed you so. And if they're no longer in the picture, then you should have fixed this in yourself. And a good way but by that is, ooh, I don't have to worry about XYZ because so and so is dead. He treated me like shit when I was 9 and I was all fucked up about it in my 50s and 60s. Oh, look, he lived a long life, but now he's dead. Oh, whatever that was, you can let go of. But some of this stuff becomes, your precious baby, and you hold on to it, and you don't evolve. You hold on to it, and it's not unusual. It's part of what the human animal is. So what you have to know is, and it's like instinct. It's like tickling a cat and it's purring, right? You're not so special. We all do some stuff. If you tickle not most people's bottom of their foot, most people will laugh, right? Um, Instinct, I mean, you rub a cat's belly and a shark's belly and they'll fall asleep. There's instinctive stuff to the human animal too. Like if you hear a loud crack, you know, everybody turns to look at it. Like very few people ignore it. Like loud sounds, we'll all stop if we see something and stare at it, right? So yeah, I mean, what is instinct, right? Dogs bark at things they don't hear. Uh, Birds somehow know that an earthquake is coming. Is that instinct? Or do like not to be in the fire? Is the fire right? You not going near the fire? Is that instinct? I don't know. Little babies will grab fire. You have to tell them not to. That might be a learned thing, but we do have instinct, um, and human traits like giggling and laughing and shit like that. fear, right? They divorced afterwards. In 2000, he married Tyne Young and divorced in 2011. Young was cast member of VH1's reality show Basketball Wives. Then his father died in 2009. Yeah, he from the time he shot this guy to about 2002 to about 2011. From 2002 to about 2011, his whole life was shit. Um, Divorce, got married. They divorced in 2000 before the shooting. Got married. I'm sorry, got married before the shooting. Divorced in 2011. It's Yeah, dad died in 2009 while he was going through all this. Man, I get it. I totally get it. But don't play with guns. I got no sympathy for you. Right? You undid yourself with this. But I get it. Some people like fire. Which I am one. I'll let a match burn all the way down before I put it out. But I'm not playing with fire in my house, right? In my complex, and then all of a sudden you burn the whole complex down. And people go, True always fucking played with fire. And this started over in that part of the housing uh complex. And then someone would go down there and they go, well, I did smell smoke here first, right? The alarm comes went up around here first. And I thought I smelled something coming from that direction where Sean lives. Then you go check my house and there's just, you know, burnt shit. Oh, well, it's a fire. I guess you wouldn't find everything's burnt. But yeah, they can tell what fires start. People are just, it's like firemen who are firebugs. And then you eventually arrest them because they set all these arsons. I don't know. We got 3 minutes. Who's got anything? We didn't really have a great show today. We looked up some stuff, but it didn't get too loose, which is good. Um, 6 dead. I mean, what? It was at a party. It sounded like it was a nightclub shooting. We're asking for help, so they don't even know who the shooter is. Yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. Come on, people, what are you doing? Raise these people. So you get drunk and you shoot up the joint, which I think is what happened. And then you gotta make sure your friends don't tell that it was you. In a society where they only hand out super long sentences. Like at least in the 30s or 40s, you could do your 25 years of murder and get out. Now nobody ever gets out because somebody has built up that no one ever changes and murder. You know what I mean? It's like life in prison should be for the sinister people, and now it's just for everybody. And ugh, I am against that. I believe most people can change. Not all people can change. And I believe some people should stay in jail for what they've done. You kill a political figure, you should stay in jail, right? The idea of that becoming a thing is fucking ridiculous. Uh no, not execution or not. You should sit in jail. You should sit there. You should rot, right? You should not be able to go to the yard or walk around. The hell what the ACLU says. I mean, like those guys who planted that bomb of that marathon. Nobody got time for you, right? And you're alive to show the greatness of America because we could have easily freaking dusted you off, and we didn't. So now sit here in this room for the next 70 years and eat cold soup or whatever the fuck they give you. Not anything good either. And not rotten or anything, to mind you, but like not good stuff. Bland AF stuff. Everything chased with water, right? Take all the verb out of life because that's what they were doing to so many people, right? But a lot of these bad guys are bad guys because the system is just shit. The system really has failed the American the American citizen, in my opinion. Um, and did so to drive everybody to someone's financial money with like what do they call it, revenue stream. I said before, the honest revenue stream is Netflix. It gets my money honestly, I get it. But all this other stuff is you being pushed into these places Um, yeah. All right. Anyway, what is that? Anyway, yeah, that's enough for me and my craziness. Let's wrap it up. My family had a lovely wedding, and I was happy and pleased to attend. It was beautiful. Uh, got to see a lot of people. So my yesterday was great. My today is going to be filled with trying to do positive stuff because I'm feeling all positive because of the wedding. And hopefully tomorrow we'll be on Twitch streaming from there. So let's see how that goes. Uh, it's April, May, June. Right, so I got a month and like 2 weeks for my anniversary here on Haps, and my anniversary of me streaming almost daily. Right, those first few months was every day. Right, first few weeks, like first 6 weeks was 2 a days, and then they were like just every day for a few hours, and now then they were like 5 days a week. Right, maybe I'll turn it down to 3 days a week, 4 days a week. I don't know, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday. Get my weekends back. Who knows, man? I don't want my weekends. I like it here with you. Does anybody in the chat have anything? Russia says jailed American on hunger strike, but denies he caught TB. Now I want to remind you, they let one guy out, right? And he was there for Americans held in Russia. Let's look. Let's look at that. Americans held in Russia. Yeah, one guy got out though. Who did they send home? All right. Biden meets with Trevor Reed's parents after they protest outside the White House. So Trevor Reed is one of these guys. He's a Marine. He's there. Um, but they let one guy, John Cornyn, renews call for Joe Biden to help. Okay, John. Right. Where's these other two guys? Three Americans. Here we got names now. Um, the escalating Russian assault on Ukraine. See, this is what I'm talking about. They call this a fucking article. I have to. Oh, it's not an article. Anyway, these three people: sham trial, meatball surgery, no human rights, Paul's life matters, decision action from POTUS and PMs needed. Happy birthday, Flora. Uh, she's gonna sit there for a while. I thought they let one of these guys out, but I guess not. A month ago. There's three of them. I don't even know what to tell you. I thought they let one go, but apparently not. Why? Don't go to Russia. Like they had to tell you this, American. Seriously, they had to tell you not to go to North Korea after Warmier died over there. Um, who was doing goofy shit. But he should have been killed. But apparently, you do goofy shit in foreign countries, you are subject to their rule of law, and they freaking it was um, it was a death sentence. They gave him 10 years hard labor there, and he was back in 2 years dead, and they had blinded him. They let someone stuck needles in his eyes. Just evil. That's in your jail. So yeah, here's the thing about that: the Lockerbie bombing by Gaddafi and his guys that came back to haunt them like 20 years later after his fall when everybody went in to you know what I mean. Uh, that's on the docket. So when it comes due, people are going to be there's going to be payback for that. That's how governments get down. Um, yeah. All right, that is it. Normally we go to 12. I don't think we have anything else to talk about unless, like I said, unless someone's got something in the chat. Uh, this Ukraine thing just More and more ridiculous every week. Clean the house, fix my bike, get on Twitch. If I get on Twitch, I can do stuff from around the house, which is nice because I like to cook. Uh, I don't know, man. The whole thing is ridiculous. I'll figure it out. I'm in my own head about a lot of stuff. I'm still all misty from the wedding. I feel all away about it. Uh, which is good, right? Don't think I feel me feeling a way is a bad thing. I feel a way about it, and love is good. And but I just see so many divorce after divorce after divorce. I think I've gotten cynical, and a lot of people have gotten cynical about love and connection. And I think the people who do it right are going to have to sort of big up marriage because marriage just looks like it's a con on men. So you're going to have to big it up to make to ensure that it doesn't die, or maybe it'll die, right? Maybe that's a good thing, but it's shame if it does. It's a good thing. It is a great thing. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. Let's close the upstream. Good Lord, what is going on there? And present on stream. Stop doing that. All right. Remember, it's just Saturday. It's just Saturday. It's just Sunday. It's yours until midnight. Do something with it. Is it nice out? Go take a walk. Even if it's a little, if it's sunny, put on a sweater and go for a walk. Take the dog for a walk. A nice long walk, like an hour long walk. Not a run. Leisurely stroll around for an hour. Get some vitamin D. Get some vitamin D in your face. All right. I will see you guys in the next one. Next one will likely be tomorrow. I took a few days off, and I'll take a break on Thursday. So I'll see you in the next one. Next one's tomorrow, 6:30. Be thars or be squires. Remember, if you've been here for the Sunday session, your soul is good for 2 weeks. That's all we guarantee. Not forever, 2 weeks, but we guarantee the 2 weeks. You can void this thing by doing some super evil to someone, and then they're straight to hell. But that's the caveat, right? You're super good for 2 weeks. Don't commit any murders, no arsons, no burglaries, no robberies. You're golden. See you, and then come back in 2 weeks and get it again. That's 21 weeks a year. Mwah. If you do it 21 weeks a year, you're good for 5 years. Who's going to tell you stuff like that? And you get to keep your money. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, fish and fowl. I will see you in the next one. Next one's 6:30 tomorrow. Give or take. I've been a little late. Sorry about that. But I will be here. We stream 6 days a week, generally. And tomorrow we're gonna try. Good sweet Jesus. I should just say we're gonna do it versus saying trying. We're gonna try to reset the whole situation and fix my bad camera angle. I'm probably gonna put it on a tripod right in front of the TV, which is what I'm staring at. Because my discipline is wonky. Uh and as always, we say goodbye like 6 times. So one more time. Take care of yourself. See you tomorrow. Have a good Sunday morning and a good Sunday evening. And if I don't see you, have a strong week. A strong, strong week.